Since I love to yap about books, I decided to finally film a bookshelf tour. I have 3 bookcases. The first one is the one behind me. It's the main one. It's the main character. And I'm not gonna start with it because it just has so many books. This is my second bookcase. No, why is my head? Oh, you can see how bad my bun looks. This bookcase is rom-coms and dark romances, and I have Demon Slayer sitting at the top on its own. I don't have the full series yet, and I don't want to actually continue the series, so for now, it's sitting right there. It matches the vibes. So, and this one is the third one, and I'm not even sure if this is supposed to be called a bookcase, but here we go. The only way I can reach these books is if I stand on my desk. Is it the most convenient way? No. But it's the only way. So, I can also reach these shelves now. I don't even know how to show you these books, so I'm holding my phone with my hand, and we're just gonna do this. So, I had a Colleen Hoover phase, and that explains the over 20 books I have by her. I also have these mass paperbacks, and one of my favorites is it's The Hostage by Susan Wiggs. So The Hostage basically follows our main character. She's a daughter of a very rich man, and he has enemies, but he's done some shady stuff in his life. So our main guy decides to take advantage of the fires sweeping towards the city and actually go confront this man and of him. When he goes there, he finds that his daughter, the daughter of the guy, is actually defending him, even though he's a very person. But still, he's like, you know what? What would hurt him more than me actually offing him, kidnapping his daughter? And he thinks she's just a spoiled brat, and I don't even know if she was. But he takes her to this island where he lives with the community. They're really nice people, and at first they're really unsure of her and they don't really include her and stuff. Then she starts helping out, and they see that she's not just a spoiled brat. So they start loving her, while our main guy, which is very grumpy, still did not really like her that much. But the things he did for her later on, he literally sewed boots and mittens for her. He also rode a horse over a frozen, I believe, lake, but I'm not really sure, just to get to her. He was gonna die. He still did that. So go read this book. It's not really that long. It's a historical fiction. It's set in 1871. What? Yeah, I really want to reread this, but I keep putting off rereading books unless they were part of a series and I really needed to remember what happened. I also have some thriller books here and some Arabic books. I do recommend Azar has a subplot of romance and it follows our main guy and he was raised by a wolf. And his community kind of shunned him out. This was a really nice read and I kind of miss this book. I miss this book a lot! I remember there was a really good quote that I annotated in a very nice way, but I cannot find it. This is the passage and look at how nice it looks. There's also this series I read. It's basically a dystopian series but in Arabic. And we have The Silent Patient, The Fury, and The Maiden. Then I have My Dark Vanessa. I'm sure everyone has heard about this book. It follows our main character from when she was groomed by one of her teachers, and you follow the victim's POV, and this explains why they never really speak out. I really recommend this book, but it's very triggering, so check trigger warnings, and if this is not for you, then skip the book. Then we have The Masterpiece. Just look at the cover. The cover is a masterpiece. It's also heavily annotated. Got for $4. So a hardcover for $4 is a great deal. It kind of just fell flat for me, so I gave it a 3.5 or 3 stars. On here we have some Taylor Jenkins read, and I don't support her anymore. I have a book about cults. The Water Cure is about the cults. Everything I Know About Love. Girl in Pieces. That book was something. I also have some self-help books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. I have Influence, The Power of Persuasion. It's about like mostly marketing. Then We Were Liars and Family of Flyers. I really like these books, but I know like there's many mixed reviews about them. Also How to Kill Your Family. This was really interesting. And look at how cute the cover is. Look at how cute the cover is. Now I have to struggle to put it back in. I also have One of Us is Lying, One of Us is Next. I really like these books, but I did not continue the other books. I think I don't really need to. Not really sure though, so let me know. Then I read Where the Crawdads Sing. I really like that book. Eleanor and Park. 3 John Green books. For Your Own Good. This was really good actually. You need to read this. This book follows an unreliable narrator. He's basically a teacher and would do anything to teach his students. And I mean everything. Then I also have Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I read that in June and it's in my June wrap up. Then we go to my main shelf. So we have The Firekeeper's Daughter, When Women Were Dragons. This book was also in my June wrap up. 2 stars. Winged Poppy Midnight is just a very fun, fast read, and that's it. Powerless, since it was plagiarized and also used AI, I put the series up here because I don't want to see it anymore. We also have Sarah J. Maas, which I also don't support anymore, so it's sitting right here. Also, Fourth Wing and the rest of the series are right here. Does my bun look fine? I have no idea how my head looks. So we have Sea Witch, and it's basically an Ursula retelling. The last 100 pages, I believe, of each book is absolutely insane. And when I mean insane, I mean everything falls apart. And you should read it because it's amazing. The second book in this duology is Sea Witch Rising. This is a Little Mermaid retelling, and just look at the covers. I have to admit, I did buy them because of the covers, but they turned out to be amazing. But I also read these years ago, so I have no idea how I would feel if I read them today. Then I have The Anger of Angels. This is a YA fantasy that I got also years ago. I read this also 5 years ago. You follow a jester's daughter trying to pay for what her father did in one of his plays. He offended someone, and that someone has power and did not like being offended. Let me read you one of the quotes that actually convinced my friend to read this book. They were kind of in deadly trials, and she told him, "If I die, I want you to," and he interrupted her. "You won't die today, Vanna. And you? If I die saving your life, and that for me is enough." So add this to your TBR. Then we have our Wicked Histories. The cover is gorgeous. This is a horror book. It's a YA horror book. And it was really good. I rated it 5 stars. I think now I would give it 4.5. Then we have For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga. Also YA fantasy. And it supposedly had so much female rage, and at first it did. But then the ending kind of wasn't satisfying to me, so I gave it maybe 3.5 or 4 stars. I have no idea. Then we have The Kingdom by Jess Rosenberg. In this book, there's like this Disneyland where the humans or the princesses are half human, half robot. Also, the animals are. So they brought back animals that were extinct. They created mermaids and stuff like this. And our main character is supposedly half human, half robot. So she's not supposed to feel human emotions until she does. And now she's on trial for murder. So the book is set in the past and present. In the present, where the trials are actually taking place, and she's in court, and to the past, how things unfolded. It was really good, but I felt like it needed something more. Then we have The Ring and the Crown, A Touch of Darkness series. I don't have the last book because I stopped reading this. The first book was good, and then the rest of the books were just spiced, I felt like, with barely their plot. I don't know if it's worth continuing the series. I have one book left, but I really don't want to get the book. But look at what I did to the first book. I drew this, I added quotes from the book, and tape. Then we have Radiant Shadows. You can barely see the book. This book. So this was part of a series, and I didn't know that because I didn't research enough. I bought it from an online used bookstore, and I was just getting into reading, so I didn't really research books that much. I feel like if I read it in the series, then I would have enjoyed it more. But since I read it as a standalone, I didn't really understand most of the things that were happening. Then we have The Museum of Extraordinary Things by Alice Hoffman. We have How to Train Your Dragon. I won this in a giveaway with tickets to the movie, and I love this whole universe. Then we have Dracula, The Hunger Games. Yes, they're all different covers, and it frustrates me so much. Let me show you the covers. But I also bought them used, and I didn't really care about that when I first started reading, but now I do. So we have this cover, and then this, and then this. How did I think this was acceptable when I first started reading? I have no idea. These two are kind of the same size, and this is taller. It kind of bothers me, but we're gonna ignore it because I got them for really good prices. Then we have the Selection series. What you're standing on is not the most stable thing right now because I'm also standing on it, and it's my chair. But this is gonna have to do because I want you to see these shelves. Here we have Leah Bardugo's books. We have the Shadow and Bone trilogy, Six of Crows duology, and The Familiar, my Holly Black shelf. And I'm obsessed with The Cruel Prince for anyone that doesn't know yet. I rated Book of Night 3 stars, and then I was even hesitant to get book 2, But I was like, you know what? Let me just read the book since the cover is really nice and I also need to be done with this duology. And I'm obsessed with book two. Book two was a 5-star read for me. And even though I read it, I think last month or the month before it, I want to reread it. And it hasn't been that long. But I'm obsessed with this book. I don't know how I rated this 5 stars and this 3 stars. I even reread Book of Night another time in case my rating changed, but it didn't. So I also read The Stolen Heir and The Prisoner's Throne, and then this is my Olivia Blake's shelf. If you didn't know, she's also one of my favorite authors. I have Masters of Death, but it's not on my shelf right now. It's in my TBR pile down below. So, if I were to recommend you a book from this stack, it would obviously be One for My Enemy. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and the writing is amazing. Look at how much I tabbed this book. The characters are morally grey, and I love that. Most of them are morally grey. And some of my favorite quotes, all of these are my favorite quotes. So I will not be reading all of these to you, but read the book and you'll find out why I am obsessed with this. I also did this to the title page. Let me show you the fan art though. I was also really obsessed with the Atlas 6 and the Atlas Paradox. And then the Atlas Complex, which is the last book, kind of really disappointed me. The ending was not satisfying for me. But I understand why it ended that way, but I still wanted a different ending for the characters. Also, Gifted and Talented by the author was a 4.5-star read. I have nothing really to say about this book. This is the best angle so far, and I'm also sat down, so it's very comfy. On these shelves, we have A Cruel Thirst. A Cruel Thirst is a YA fantasy. It's a standalone, and it follows a vampire and a vampire slayer. He rated this 5 stars, I believe. And just look at the cover. Yes, I did buy this because of the cover, but can you blame me? No. And this is just some of the little details in the book. Also, the dedication is for the wild-hearted daughters, may you continue to give the world hell. And if this doesn't convince you, then I don't know what does. Then we have Within the Heart of Wicked Creatures. And this book, look at how much I annotated it. What is this? I'm obsessed with this book. So this book is a YA fantasy. It follows our main character, Priya, and she was born under the blood moon. In her village, they believe that people that were born under the blood moon are cursed individuals and should be offed. Even under the blood moon, the families don't go out of their houses. It's that bad. That's because people born during the blood moon are cursed with a dangerous ability to manipulate other people's souls. But then Priya wins a place in the country's elite military academy, and then she's swept into this world that she knows nothing about and is very different from what she knows. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't really want to spoil the book. This is the first book in a duology. The second book is out, but it hasn't been translated yet, and I'm dying for it to be translated. I need to read the second book before I forget what happens in this. But I've clearly annotated this book enough for me to actually go back and read my annotations and remember what happened. Also, this has a subplot of romance. It's kind of hate to love, and it's amazing. Then we have One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. I adore this duology. It's kind of gothic fantasy, and it was done very well. I want to reread this because I read it very fast, and I didn't feel like I lived in the world enough, so I want to reread it. And then we have Belladonna. I finished the series also very fast. I don't know why I do this to myself because I really like this. Then we have All the Stars and Teeth and All the Tides of Fate by Adeline Grace, the same author of the Belladonna series. I did not really enjoy these books as much. I felt like the main character was really bland. She didn't have a personality. Then we have The Daughter of the Pirate King, the 3 books, Daughter of the Pirate King, Daughter of the Siren Queen, and Vengeance of the Pirate Queen. So the Vengeance of the Pirate Queen follows the romance story of a side character, but also stuff happen in this book which are important to the plot and follow the story of these 2 books. So I don't know why people don't pick up the third one. Then we have The Shadows Between Us, also by the same author, and I read this book around 4 to 5 years ago and I really, really, really liked it. But when I reread it this year, I did not enjoy it that much. It was still really good, but I feel like the characters were kind of red flags, especially the guy. Then we have To Kill a Kingdom and Princess of Souls. To Kill a Kingdom is a Little Mermaid retelling and it was done really well. I really enjoyed this book. But the second book is set in the same world, even though nothing was mentioned from this book. So you don't have to read this book to read this one. This is a Rapunzel retelling, and it was done really, really, really well. and it kind of really shocked me. It exceeded my expectations, and I really liked this. I also drew the character. On the shelf, we have V.E. Schwab, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, Vicious and Vengeful, which I really, really, really love. And I'm so excited for book 3 that comes out this year. And I recommended them to a friend recently, and he is reading the books. And if he doesn't enjoy them, I'm going to make him read it again. Then we have The Rose Bargain, which I... Whoa! Then we have The Rose Bargain, which I also really enjoyed. And I really need the second book, but it's not available in my country yet. Then we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which I adore. And if you haven't read this series yet, then what are you doing? If you really like the Nashvers, then you're really going to enjoy this series. And if you haven't, you should read both of them. Then I have the reappearance of Rachel Price. I removed the dust jacket because I feel like it looks better without it. It's a special first edition, and look at the displayed edges. Maybe I should display it like this. Wait a minute. Like this. Then we move on to these shelves. We have the Once Upon a Broken Heart series and The Fox. If you've read the series, you understand why The Fox is next to the series. Look at how gorgeous this edition is. I never showed you while filming because I forgot, but I just remembered while editing the video. I bought this and didn't know it was a special edition and that it was also signed. Same thing with the third book. I also didn't know this was going to be a special edition. And it's also signed. However, the second book is not. But I'm not mad about that because I bought them for the same price of a normal copy. We have The Crimson Moth and The Rebel Witch. Read this duology. Then we have Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. Also read this duology. And Wild Reverence. We have Heavenly Bodies and Fallen Stars. I really enjoyed this book, but this series is a definition of a romantasy because the romance is the main plot. Then we have Silver Elite. I need the second book, but it's still not available in my country as well. Then we have A Song to Drown Rivers. This made me drown in my tears, and I highly recommend this. We have this trinket from Turkey, this crystal tree, these little ghosts, and I broke a mug. So this is like a very... Oh! I was gonna break this one as well, but this has sad memories. Anyways, then we move on to the shelf. We have the Kingdom of the Wicked series. The first book was good, then the rest, I don't know what happened. We have Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. I really enjoyed this duology. Read this duology! Then we have the Shatter Me series and Watch Me. I read Release Me, but I don't have the book yet. Then we go to this shelf, and as you can see, one of my favorite series sits right here, and it's the Natural series. Go pick up the series if you haven't already. We have the Inheritance Games and the rest of the books. I need book 3. Book 3 comes out this year. The Grandest Game, Glorious Rivals, and I forgot the name of the last book, but I'm really excited to see how this ends, and I'm also really sad. We also have Raised by Wolves, also by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but this was way too young adult for me. I feel like it was written for like maybe 9 to 11-year-olds, and that's it. Then we move on to this shelf. The first book is Mirage. It's a YA sci-fi fantasy, and this was in my June wrap up, the second book, because it's a duology. Then we have Moth Dark, an arc of Moth Dark, and I really enjoyed this book. Then we have Bride and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I have some of her other books, but they're on my romance shelves. But since these are paranormal romances, I'm gonna keep them here. This book made me cry my eyes out, and I highly recommend it. We also have The Night Circus, which I reread this year, and it's still amazing. I have Kelsey and Aslir. This book was sent to me by a Lebanese author. This is her first novel, and it's honestly really good. And I need the second book, and this was really good, especially that it was her first published novel. This is going to be a duology, so this isn't completed yet. And hopefully she's writing the book. Mahasan, if you're watching this, you better be writing the second book, or else I'm going to spam your phone with messages. This is how the back of my head looks? Wait. This is how you're... Seriously? On this shelf, we have Demon Slayer on top and a 3D puzzle of a bookstore and a cafe that I got for Toys R Us. Here we have Anna Huang's books, the Twisted series, and the Kings of Sin. I didn't get book 6 yet. It's not available in my country, first of all, and second of all, I heard very mixed reviews about the misrepresentation in the book, so I'm not even sure if I should get the book. Then we have Nightshade. I'm not sure if it's a dark romance, but look at how gorgeous the cover is. We follow Ophelia, and her parents died mysteriously in this university, which is mostly for mafia kids and messed up children. And her parents told her before they, I told her not to go to this university, no matter what. But since they died mysteriously and no one wants to investigate that, she decides to go there and actually find out what happened to her parents. And then she has a stalker. And no, it's not the love interest, it's a creepy stalker. And it ends on a cliffhanger that made me wanna. So, read this. And the second book comes out this month. We have Lights Out and Caught Up. I loved Lights Out so much. If you want to read a dark romance that's not that dark but also funny, then pick up this book. I loved this so much I thought I was gonna love the other books, and then I read Caught Up and my hopes and dreams were shattered because the book was absolute shit. Don't read this, just read this book. And I heard the third book is even worse, so I'm not gonna continue the series. Then we have the Sweetest Oblivion series. I read all 3 books, and the first one wasn't my favorite just because our main character was very naive, and knowing that her family was into shady business and she knew that, but still she was that naive, it just didn't make sense to me. But the second book was a little better, and the third one was the best. He basically kidnaps her after she comes to the country searching for, I don't know what she was searching for actually, I forgot, but something family related. And even though he did kidnap her, he did so many things for her that were just like, I absolutely hate the cover, so we're not gonna look at the cover, but I'm gonna read you one of the quotes from the book. If you don't want to hear the quote, it's a lovey-dovey quote, so you can just skip this part. But she's like, I want you to care. And he's like, I feed my captive vegan. She spends her day doing yoga and playing in the yard, and her nights reading classics by the fireplace. You pull a trigger on me, and I can't even leave you out in the cold for 15 minutes. So tell me, Mila, who cares more here? And if this doesn't convince you to read the book, then I don't know what does! Maybe I should reread this. I really like the size of this book. I don't know how to explain it. This gets me. Then we have Gothicana and Enigma by Runix, and I ordered more books by Runix because I loved these books by her, and I want to read more books by her, and I'm also really excited for Arcana, which I guess is a prequel to Gothicana. I literally have 2 copies of Gothicana, so go read the book. It's a gothic romance with paranormal elements, and it was very creepy, and the romance was amazing. And then we have Enigma, which also kind of is the same thing, but in a different setting and different characters. So Gothicana follows our main character that has lived in the woods with her mother for a while, so she's not really normal. She's a woman with secrets, and she's not used to trusting people. She goes to this university because she gets an admission letter, and that's the last thing she expected. Varenmore is a castle on top of a mountain, steeped in shadows, and a lot of deaths happened there. Even the taxi driver that was driving her to the university didn't want to step close to the university. And that tells you something. I love these creepy vibes so much in books. Enigma follows our main character, Salem, and she goes to this university because her sister went missing years ago. She wants to find out what happened to her sister, even if she has to use herself as bait. This one, it's a student and professor romance, but he's a very young professor because that's a spoiler I can't say. He's a young professor because he's really smart, and she's 23, I believe. This book, however, both of them are students, but he's a little bit older than her. I kind of want to reread them now. Then we have Haunting and Hunting Adeline. And yes, I read this duology years ago. I'm not gonna say anything about it. Then we have the Gods of Something series by Irina Kent. I really like God of Wrath. It's everyone's favorite, I believe, where Jeremy is the main character. What I didn't expect to like was God of Ruin, because I hated the main guy. I don't know how I liked him in his book. I also really, really like God of War, since the mystery element really kept me interested in the story. Then we have the My series, and it's one of my favorite series ever. This is a bind up of all the books. There are 5 books. Books 1 to 4 are around 100 pages long, while book 5 is like around 200 pages. Go read the series, but check trigger warnings. It's very triggering. I reread this year as well, and it's still amazing. She's a serial killer, and he's an FBI agent. Lana Mayers might be one of my favorite characters ever. after Jude Duarte. So this says something because I rarely really like female main characters to the point where I remember their names. Then we have Sinners Anonymous, and I have the rest of the series, but they're on my TBR stack. Then we have the Butcher and Blackbird series. If you watched my June wrap up, then you know I enjoyed Leather and Lark a lot and didn't really enjoy the rest as much. The last book was really boring. The first book didn't make sense, and the second book was absolutely amazing. And I love this. If you read dark romance and haven't read this book, go read it right now. It follows two serial killers and a marriage of convenience that was done so well. Then you have Endless Anger by Sav R. Miller. You have to see the sprayed edges because they're gorgeous, and the cover is even prettier. So this is a dark romance, and it was really dark. So I kind of underestimated the trigger warnings. They were friends, something happened, they stopped being friends, and then now he's obsessed with her again. She goes to this university, which she shouldn't have applied to because everyone's telling her not to. He goes there to protect her because he knows stuff about the university that she doesn't. But she was very naive, and I hate that in characters, and you know that by now. So that's why I didn't really enjoy that book. But the last few pages were so triggering, I actually felt like I was gonna throw up. Will I continue the series? I'm not sure. I know what Couple Book 2 is about, so that's why I'm kind of hesitant because I'm not really interested in the story. Yes, I'm intrigued. I want to know why she's acting like that in this book. But am I intrigued enough to read about her love story? Not really sure. But I feel like if the book is pretty, then I'm gonna pick it up. On the shelf, we have the fine print, terms and conditions, and the final offer. I really enjoyed the first two books, especially the second one. This is a Grumpy Sunshine work romance. I stayed up to read both books until 4 5 a.m. and I was falling asleep while reading them, and I still couldn't stop reading. Then we have Love Redesigned, Love Unwritten, and Love Arranged. I really liked all of them, but especially the second one since a single dad, and it was done really well. Then we have Things We Never Got Over, Things We Hide from the Light, and Things We Left Behind. I really like these covers, like, just ouch. Just look at them. I know people have mixed reviews about the first book because of what the main guy does, and I understand now. I don't know how I never noticed what he did in the first book. Can I spoil? So he peed in his yard. Okay, and he has a toilet, so why would he do that? That's just disgusting. And I don't remember that. Then we have Marriage for One, and I really want to reread this book. Look at how much I annotated it. Go read this. Then we have The Bodyguard and X's and O's. This I read on vacation, and I also annotated heavily. It follows our main character, what's her name, Tara, and she is looking for her trope-worthy second chance romance. So she enlists her roommate, firefighter Trevor, to help her with her quest. She's also a bookstagrammer, and I remember really enjoying this. Obviously, look at this. So go read this book. I really want to reread it, but I don't reread romance books. Then we have, why am I screaming? The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. It's a romance with no spice, and it was really, really funny. I buddy read this with my friend, and we really enjoyed this. It's also a very short read, so go pick this book up because it's very fun to read, and the romance was really good. He's a celebrity, and he decides to hire her, the bodyguard, to protect him. And he's going to meet his family, and he tells her that he doesn't really want to scare his mom by taking an actual bodyguard, so can they fake date in front of her so that she doesn't worry? So it's a fake dating and bodyguard trope book. She's an elite bodyguard who can kill you with bare hands. Jack is an impossibly handsome, world-famous actor who has everything, including a corgi breeding stalker. Oh yeah, he has a stalker. I forgot to mention that. It's in the synopsis, so it's not a spoiler. Then we reach this shelf. We have 4 books by Sarah Adams. They're no spice or low spice romance books, and they're really, really cute romances. They're not long, and we have one in Rome. I really enjoyed this, and practice makes perfect. Some people thought this was very cliche and cringy, but I didn't, and I really liked it, so go read it. We also have the cheat sheet and the rule book. This was really good. The cheat sheet, I think, was a book on Wattpad before she traditionally published the book, so this was really cringy. I didn't really like the main character. She was a pick-me. And I found myself cringing at a lot of the things that she said or did or just happened in the book in general. But I still gave it 4 stars because it was still good. But it was cringe, yeah. Then we have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I really like this book. It's an age gap where she is older than him, and she's a city girl and he's a village guy. Then we have Yours Truly, also by Abby Jimenez. This was amazing. Go read this book. It has mental health rep. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez has mental health rep. She is going through a divorce and he has severe social anxiety, I believe. And they started exchanging letters because he could not really talk to her after the really bad encounter that happened between them when he first arrived to the hospital. I gave it 5 stars. So read this book, but check trigger warnings first. But listen to this. He says, I'm trying to manifest the things I want by speaking them into the universe. She's like, and do you want a wife? And he tells her, only if it's you. Also says, and I love every piece of you, even the ones you wish didn't exist. Then you have The Spanish Love Deception and The American Roommate Experiment. The first time I read this book, I did not enjoy it that much, and then when I reread it, I gave it 5 stars. So what I didn't like about it the first time, I think that it was slow at the beginning, or was it cringe? Because the second book, the main character started out being really cringe, but then the rest of the book was amazing. So I kind of ignored that. But look at how pretty the tabs look. Then we have The Long Game, also by the same author, and this was also really good. This didn't have a cringe female main character, I think. The whole book is shorter than the other ones, and it was amazing as well. So Adeline wants to make a name for herself, but after an embarrassing video of her goes viral, her father sends her to this town where she has to work with Cameron and train a football team made up of 9-year-olds. They were really young. I don't remember the exact age. Then we have A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. So our main character wants to go to this reading retreat, and none of her friends could make it this year. So she accidentally stumbles into one of her favorite books and meets a character there that's not supposed to be in the book. I also heavily annotated this. Then we have all of these Emily Henry books. I still didn't get the last book. I think I might get it this summer, but I'm not really in the mood to read that book now, so maybe I'll wait a bit. Then you have Honey and Spice. I read this on vacation. It was really fun. On the last shelf, we have 3 Mariana Zapata books. I loved this one. Didn't like this one, and didn't like this one either. We have Hate Mail. This was a really fun read. Then we have Icebreaker, and I'm not going to continue the series. Better than the movies. I'm also not going to read the second book because there was no need to write a second book in the first place. We have Mr. Wrong Number, also by Lynn Painter, and this was bad because the main character was very clumsy, and I hate characters that are like that, like overly clumsy. Then we have The Soulmate Equation, and I really, really enjoyed that book. I read it years ago, and I kind of forgot I owned it until now. Then we have Love Theoretically and The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. We have The Hating Game. What is this? The Masks We Break. It's a second book in kind of a dark romance series, but it's not really dark. Pride and Prejudice, The Notebook, The Sun is Also a Star, Everything, Birthday Girl, Punk 57, A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, Archer's Voice, which I actually disliked, and I feel like the main guy deserved someone so much better. Me Before You, I also didn't like this because of the trope. Silver Bay, this had a cheating trope, so I obviously did not like it either. And Dream Lake. This was really nice. I think this is a historical fiction, and it was very cute. Then we're gonna come back here because I have my TBR stack that I have to show you. I'm currently reading A Stage Set for Villains, and I'm enjoying this so much, and I don't want this book to end at all, so that's why I'm kind of taking my time with it. I'm 300 pages through, but it's 513. And it smells amazing. So we have Sinners Condemned, Consumed, and Atone. We have The Stars Are Dying. This one. The Stars Are Dying. This was a special edition that was sent to me, and I have yet to read it. This is also a trilogy, I believe. We have Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, which I think I'm going to read on vacation. Maggie Moves On, and the first 3 book in the Bridge Kingdom series. I cannot find the rest, so that's why I'm scared to start the series. What if I really enjoyed it and I could not find the rest of the books? Then we have 2 Frida McFadden books, and The Secret History, and Crime and Punishment? Yeah. So what book should I pick up after A Stage Set for Villains and after Sinners Condemned? Because I need to read this book. My friend read this last month and was raving about this, and I was really excited to read it, but I don't know what happened. This was my bookshelf tour, and I felt like I wanted to yap even more. Maybe I did yap a lot. I have no idea. This is gonna be a struggle to edit, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I have 11 books on the way. So after I get these books, I'm definitely filming a huge book haul. Hopefully they all arrive at the same time, or else I'm gonna have to wait until I unbox them. And I am very impatient, so I can't do that.